All right, Mr. Dickerson, this is Ben and Barry on football again, and we're going to be presenting the Bias Plus reports. Now, again, the Bias Plus reports stems from the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. It's where we look at the net points and turnover differentials between the two teams who will be competing this coming weekend. Putting all those numbers together, we come up with a Bias Plus score, and it's going to favor one team or the other, usually, but not always. The numbers are what they are. We're going to kick it off. This is the Thursday night game. We've been talking all day about the Carolina Panthers. They're going to be at the Houston Texans. Bias Plus score of 16 favors the Carolina Panthers. Ben, I can only report the facts. You get to have an opinion.
And my opinion is that the Carolina Panthers will win this game. A 16-point Bias Plus score is not large, but at this point in the season, the Houston Texans are a little bit in trouble. Their defense is kind of challenged. Their starting quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, who actually was playing well, is now injured. They have to go to a rookie quarterback at the same time that the Carolina Panthers defense is beginning to really, really emerge, okay? Again, like we said earlier, we love Matt Rule. I'm loving Sam Darnold right now, and he seems to be loving where he is. And run CMC, let's go Panthers.
All right, that's it for the Panthers. All right, Benny, next up, that Washington football team against your what do we call these guys? The Buffalo Bills for you. I mean, what do you call them? Your minor league team?
No.
Favorites?
I just like to say, listen, I am the last guy, and I'll jump on somebody if they say, oh yeah, my other team. No, you don't have no other team, okay? If you're a football fan, you're a fan of one team only. What I like to say is the Buffalo Bills are one of my favorite AFC teams to watch. That keeps me out of trouble. And it's basically true. I really like the Buffalo Bills. My team is the New York Giants, but I like the Buffalo Bills. I like to watch the Buffalo Bills. I follow the Buffalo Bills, and I'm picking the Buffalo Bills to win this game. I'm going with the bias. I like the 31-point favorite. I'm going with the Bills.
Well, we talked a little bit about Taylor Heineke. We talked about the Washington defense in the last portion in the Sterling Net Point Power Ranking.
They have underachieved.
Ranked 16th both in offense and defense, as opposed to the Bills, who are ranked 12th in scoring, but second in defense. So if you're thinking that Washington should have the defensive edge in this game, as of the performance through two games, that is not the situation. It is Buffalo that looks to have the edge in terms of who's playing better defense.
This is one of those tricky games that could go either way. This is a scary game because the expectations we had for Washington's defense have not presented themselves yet, but they could present themselves at any time. But I don't think it'll be this week. I think Buffalo is too strong offensively.
Either that or Taylor Heineke has a Kurt Warner day, right?
It could happen.
It could happen.
Bro, it's the NFL. I don't rule anything out.
Well, don't rule this out. Justin Fields is going to the Cleveland Browns to get his initiation. With a Bias Plus score of 20, however, the Cleveland Browns are favored.
Wow. 20 is not a big bias. I think Justin Fields is going to end up being the starting quarterback, if not right away, before the season is over. But this is going to be a tough task for him going into Cleveland. If this game was in Chicago, I might think about it a little bit differently, but I don't see them winning in Cleveland with him having his first start. So I'm going to go with the Browns. I'm stick with the bias and go with the Browns.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Next up, uh-oh, it's your boy, Lamar Jackson, going to the decimated Detroit. Hey, you know something? Deuce Staley is on that coach. They have an interesting coaching staff in Detroit.
Bro, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I read a quote from Deuce Staley that kind of intimated that what they do is go with the hot hand at running back. He's the running back coach.
Right, the one that we never understood what he was doing with the Eagles, right?
Exactly. So when he was with the Eagles, he's just sending dudes out there randomly for no freaking reason. And now all of a sudden, oh yeah, we go with the hot hand guy. Whoever's doing well, that's who we stick with. And, you know, there may be a situation where we'll change, but it has to be a down and distance type thing, or maybe if a guy's tired or get the hell out of here. Friggin' Deuce Staley. You went from running back coach to running back coach. People were touting you
actually, the Eagles had promoted him to assistant head coach,
which is basically nothing.
That's what it was, his new title.
You know who they give that title to? They give it to the dude that they like and they trust to be the interim coach if they get fired. That's who gets that job.
Well, and then who got that job was Nick Sirianni. So he's with the Lions, and there's a few other people. I have to. Well, we can take another look at that coaching staff, but I thought it was an interesting coaching staff. However, Bias Plus score favors those Baltimore Ravens, and Ben says,
"Stick with the Ravens."
Stick with the Ravens, he says. All right. The Colts. Wentz. Right now, the Eagles are in jeopardy of not getting their first-round draft picks that they'll only get on the condition that Wentz plays X number of games. I believe it's like 12 or something. Might not get that pick. After all, the Tennessee Titans just finished beating the Seattle Seahawks in an extremely entertaining game where King Henry began to find himself. But the Colts, the Titans have been struggling, and the Colts are favored based on net points with Wentz out. And who's coming in at quarterback for the Colts?
His last name is Eason. I forget his first name. Tony Eason. Tony Eason will not be able to generate enough offense to stick with the Tennessee Titans. As bad as the Titans defense has played, I think they will have enough to hold off a 6th round stinking rookie or whatever this guy is. I could be wrong. I don't know how long he's been around, to tell you the truth, but it really doesn't matter. Colts are going to go into Tennessee. They're going to lose. Take the Titans. I'm going against the bias. I don't care about this. The Derrick Henry diesel is revved up, gassed up, and ready to rock. And the Colts have not shown me anything that lets me think that they can stop a running game like the Titans have.
Colts defense so far is 24th. They've given up 55 points. So sentiment has to go with you.
I didn't even look at their rushing numbers, but I shudder to think.
But, I understand it. And then again, with Wentz now out and the second string quarterback, the bias plus is a reflection of what they've done. These are other factors that anyone who's looking at these numbers, now that you know these numbers, the Colts have done some good things, and that really the Titans hadn't looked real good because, really, the Titans minus 22 in net points, Colts were minus 15. So, but the Titans look like they're getting in gear with that truck. So I agree with you there. The tendency, my thinking is to go against this particular bias. LA Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Bias plus score 6 favors the Chiefs.
Wow. That's a small bias. A little scary, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
My memory is not the best, but I do believe that Justin Herbert went into Kansas City last year and put on a show. The Chiefs have shown a little bit of vulnerability. I don't know if the Chargers defense can expose them the way that the Ravens did, but there's a possibility. And if that possibility exists, I'm going to go against the bias and I'm going to take the LA Chargers.
Well,
I know it's foolish. I know.
it's not really. Again, there's a reason here with this, especially with these two particular teams. Let's face it. Kansas City is ranked 28th defensively. The Chargers are ranked 27th. So, I mean, these are two teams that are playing at about the same clip right now.
With two dynamic quarterbacks.
Yeah, dynamic quarterbacks. The Chargers. Now, the Chiefs, let me see here. The Kansas City is third in scoring. All right. They put up 68 points. Chargers are 27th. So obviously there's a big.
But how many points did they put up?
37.
Okay.
Almost
half.
But the Chargers are 7th. Defensively, they've only given up 36. So they scored 37, they've given up 36. Kansas City is 28th in points, giving up 65. So your boy Justin Herbert might find some opportunity there.
I tell you what, if this game was in LA, I wouldn't hesitate. But I'm going to go with it anyway, because I think they have the type of offense that can give the Chiefs defense fits. And if they do that, then that means it's going to be a back and forth battle. And in a back and forth battle, anybody can win.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, it only takes one or two mistakes is all it takes. There you go. Let's see. Speaking of mistakes, you got a situation here where now people are questioning Jameis again. The New Orleans Saints are visiting the New England Patriots, who are back to their standard of play here. Bias plus score of 3 favors the New England Patriots.
Wow, that's close.
Oh, baby. But again, the Saints had the big first game.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Yeah, I understand that. But refresh my memory. Points against, where are the Patriots?
The Patriots points against are ranked 4th.
Good enough for me. Take the Patriots.
New England's actually ranked 6th, but again, I think they have a skew from the first game.
That could be. I don't care.
Okay.
The Saints have a skew.
Okay.
Didn't the Saints pound the Packers?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Saints have a skew.
Oh, you said the Saints have a skew.
Right.
Yeah, I could care less. And I know I'm going to sound a little hypocritical because I could probably slide and not say nothing and people will forget, but I was touting Jameis Winston. I still hope he does well, okay? But this team has far more problems than Jameis Winston. Far more problems, especially defensively. Take the Patriots.
All right, I'm going with the Patriots. Well, the bias is going with the Patriots. The Patriots. All right.
The Pats.
The Pats. Well, forget the Pats, man. You got the Falcons at the New York Giants. Your boys with a bias plus score of 37.
Wait. The Giants are favored by a bias plus score of 37?
Absolutely, man.
This is a no-brainer, baby.
Oh,
Take the
baby.
Giants for their first win. Let's go.
I mean, look, let me tell you something, man. The Giants were only negative 15 in their points, but I'm thinking Atlanta Falcons was negative 49. So, okay, go Giants.
Let's go, baby.
You're rolling with the bias, right, homie?
Yeah, and little fantasy note, and this is strictly off of nothing but my heart and head. This is not statistically supported, okay? But that little riff, that little thing that Kenny Golladay had on the sideline, I think Galladay's coming up for a big day.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think Daniel Jones is going to try to make him happy. Yes, I do.
Well, the speculation was that he was barking at Daniel Jones, but then they said he was actually barking at the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
Right next to Daniel Jones.
Yes, but then he turned right around and said that he didn't have the kind of chemistry that he should have because he's been hampered with injuries throughout training camp. So part of this is his problem. Part of this is his fault. Daniel Jones has developed far more chemistry with Shepard and Slayton than he has with Golladay. And that's because Golladay hasn't been on the field. So now he's feeling good, and now he's feeling left out. Well, bro, you got to work your way back into the quarterback's confidence. You got to work on timing. You know, this is not, you just don't walk out on the field and say, hi, I'm Kenny Golladay, start throwing me the ball. It's not like that. You know?
All right. So you're going with this happily, going with bias here.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. We're moving right along here. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said it doesn't happen often, but it happened here. Bias plus score of 0.
Wow.
Favors a tie. So you could be right. I'm probably not going to, the odds are against it's going to be a tie. So the bias is probably not going to be right in this situation. But let's face it, Ben. You know, the Bengals had net points of 0. The Steelers are net point -2. Okay.
Oh my God, this one is so tough.
But then the Bengals are turnover differential -2, and the Steelers are 0.
Okay, wait.
Wow.
Who's rated higher in points against?
Points against. The Bengals are 12th. The Steelers are 9th by 2 stinking points.
Damn. All right.
And Big Ben is hurt.
Yeah, here's one I got to go with on my heart. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think the lack of a serious pass rush by a Pittsburgh Steelers team who, before the season started, was touted as having a very mighty defense. It just hasn't. I just don't see it. Where's TJ Watt?
He's hurt.
There you go.
He's out.
Where's the rest of them? Where the rest of them?
Signed that big A contract.
Oh, geez, he pulled a hammy because his wallet was too heavy. Way down his pocket, he pulled a hammy. Oh, geez, me Christmas.
Out.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Going with the Bengals. All righty. Who's up next? The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Arizona Cardinals. And this now we've moved into the big biases. This is almost an average of 25 plus points gain at 50, over 2 games. Bias plus for 57 favors the Arizona Cardinals. The Jacksonville Jaguars aren't quite ready for prime time.
Yeah, I'm going to call this one a no-brainer and go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think there's no need in beating this one up too much here. It would be the surprise of the surprises if Jacksonville won this game. And they're going into Arizona. So there you go. Jets at the Denver Broncos. Hey, look. Jets coach, head coach, former Niner defensive coach, said that his quarterback just has to settle down and not think he has to make the big play. He's got to start to use those underneath receivers and things of that nature. And with his arm angle talent, if he grows to that, that's the next step for him. For him to be able to take advantage of that. So often, I've said this to you, the pass that has a high difficulty factor, the receiver actually goes up above two guys and catches it, and it gets all of the hype and glory. And there were three guys underneath sitting there like this. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't really need that pass. You could have got it done. I said that about my Niners in the Super Bowl with that deep pass. I'm like, they didn't need that pass. They just needed a first down. That's all they needed. So long story short, Jets at Broncos. You said look out for the Broncos. Bias plus score 54.
No brainer. No brainer. Take the Broncos.
No brainer. Take the Broncos. Now, Miami Dolphins going into Las Vegas to play those Raiders. Bias plus score 55 favors the Raiders.
This was not as tough as it may seem. If I had seen this game posted in the beginning of the season, I would have been like, wow, I'm not sure, but I'm really sure. That's a strong 55 that favors the Raiders. I'm going to go with it. Take the Raiders.
Yeah, Miami. And again, the question is Tua going to get labeled as being injury prone? That's the big question now. So
well, before he gets labeled as injury prone, the problem is right now he's injured. Right now he's injured. So, and they don't know exactly when he's coming back. So I heard today that they were hoping that he could be okay for this game. I don't think so, but it's possible he'll be back next week. So I don't think it's a major injury, but with a guy like him, you got to be careful because some of the injuries that he's had in the past have been major.
He ain't not the fastest guy.
No, not at all.
He ain't Russell Wilson moving around.
Not even close.
So he needs to be a master of that pocket because he got to get that ball out of his hands. And I think maybe they can help him with that. But that's a painful injury, and I'm sure it's going to affect his throwing. So, all right, there you go. Raiders favored. TB Buccaneers, Tampa Bay at the LA Rams. Ben, this looks to be my intriguing game of the week.
It is, or you're not sure?
Yeah.
You're not sure. You're not sure. You're not sure.
We just went with a 0. It's hard to ignore a tie as being intriguing. But we're talking about two obvious playoff contenders going against each other in the middle of the second preseason with a bias plus score of only 1, and it don't favor the Super Bowl champions.
So this game is scary because the Buccaneers defense has not played up to their potential, and the Rams defense has not played up to their potential. But both offenses have shown that they can light you up. So it's all about whose defense comes to play. And in my eyes, I trust the DC of the Buccaneers to get it done. I'm going Buccaneers. Going against the bias, I'm going with the Bucs.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I can understand it.
And this could be a loss for them. People are going, oh, Brady's going to go through the league like a knife through butter. This is a road game, and it's a tough road game against a very high-powered offense. Nobody's been able to stop Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods is having his way. Henderson is a little dinged up. Michelle is getting his first chance to start. This is a bad situation for the Buccaneers to be coming into, for real. But I'm going with them anyway.
You don't care about the whole East Coast to West Coast. It's just the West Coast to East Coast.
Yeah, I care more about West Coast to East Coast, although I heard an argument about East Coast, West Coast. I'm assuming this is a 1:00 game?
I do believe, yeah.
So 1 o'clock on the West Coast is
No.
really.
I think this is a 4 o'clock game.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, this won't be no big deal.
Okay, no problem. Very interesting, yeah, because the Bucks are number 1 in scoring, so, and the Rams are number 5. So
Right.
this is going to be Matt Stafford on the big stage.
Yes.
That's what's really going to be.
Stafford against the GOAT, pile up the points. The team that scores the most is going to win.
I mean, how often do you hear Tom Brady and Matt Stafford in the same breath?
Not very often. Not very often. But with the weapons that Stafford now has, it's a legitimate conversation.
It's a legitimate conversation. And the mind meld with his head coach that apparently he's having. They're having the Vulcan mind meld up there in LA. So it's going to be, again, who hits harder sometimes is what it's all about. Can that up the middle, a monster that the Rams have, make Brady move off his spot? Because Aaron Donald is known to get to the quarterback and beat the double team in 2.5 seconds. And Brady's known to get the ball out of his hand in 2.5 seconds. So I always look forward to that battle. Okay, you're going with the
Bucks.
Going with the Bucks, going against the bias. Okay, here we go. All right, Seattle. This looks like another 4:00 game, 4 o'clock game, 4:30. Seattle Seahawks at the Minnesota Vikings. Our boy Kirk Cousins, but the bias plus score of 13 favors the Seattle Seahawks. Dude. Vikings have lost 2 straight, so it's hard coming from a negative net points and beating a team that's won at least 1 game and only lost the second game by like what?
This actually could be an intriguing game candidate. This is weird. The Seahawks are what? They're 1-1?
Yeah, I do believe, yes.
Okay, and the Vikings are 0-2.
Yipper.
But both defenses are capable. I'm sorry, both offenses are capable of putting up huge numbers.
Strangely enough, Seattle's offense is ranked 10th, and Minnesota's offense is ranked 11th.
Wow.
The difference is in the rankings on the defensive side.
This is a tough one. Now, I could be lazy and just take the Vikings because they're the home team. But this is a kind of game where I have to dig a little bit deeper and think about scheme, coaching, who I think is going to be able to attack the other team's defense. I have no doubts on either offense, but which offense can more effectively attack the opposing defense? And when I look at it that way, I have to go Seahawks. So I'm going to stick with the bias, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Going with the Seahawks. Okay, I can understand that. Hey, look, Russell is cooking. DK hasn't really gotten off yet.
Not yet.
And you can't give Russell 2 things at the same time. What is it? Can't give him a pocket and a locket.
And a locket.
At the same time. All righty, that was too much fun. Okay, now we're getting to the Sunday night game. All right, Ben, here's confession time. Green Bay's coming into my San Francisco, my beloved San Francisco 49ers. The bias plus score of 31 favors the Niners, but the skew from the Packers' big-time loss to the Saints is a big part of that bias. My Niners have not looked dominant. The Packers did kind of get right against the Lions. Now, Ben, I'm playing these games. I'm doing the Madden version. I didn't
Did you play this one yet?
Huh?
You played this one already?
Yes, I did. I played the Eagles game too. I beat the Eagles.
Okay.
And let me tell you what happened with the Packers, man. First of all, I'm playing with Trey Lance on the game, right? But again, it's different in the game because I'm the brain, but I'm also the brain fart. Okay. So look.
Oh Lord.
This you gotta respect Aaron, right? So
You better.
the game plan was solid, Ben. Listen to this. Listen to this. Right? Game plan was solid. The Niners had 171 yards rushing and 222 yards passing. Okay.
Okay.
We were 5 for 8 on third down. All right.
Okay. Don't tell me how many touchdowns you scored. Let me guess. 3, 4.
That was part of the problem. The final score
Lord.
was 14-12 Green Bay.
Oh, you stink. Are you kidding me? Green Bay's defense is garbage. They got so many holes, it's ridiculous. They're
But
like Swiss cheese.
I had 2 brain farts that turned into INTs. Just like I was saying, sometimes you go to push one button and you're thinking, and it just, and oh, what the fuck did I just, excuse me, what the
well,
heck?
that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It counts in the game, man, because it's a turnover. You want
no, of course it counts in the game, but I'm just saying, you can't relate that to what we're talking about. First of all, Trey Lance ain't ready. And Jimmy Garoppolo is playing well. He's not playing great. He's playing well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, I've been a proponent of Garoppolo being that starter. So
both defenses are challenged. And the Packers have Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams.
And Devontae Adams.
And we could toss in a little bit of Tunyon, where you guys are kind of living off of Debo and
Ayuk.
No, you're not living. Ayuk caught 2 passes in 2 games. Ayuk's not doing nothing.
Yeah, but they're going to have to put Ayuk is too dynamic not to have him in there. I don't know why.
Ayuk didn't even start the first game. Ayuk has problems figuring out how to be a professional, to put it nicely. I'm not saying later on in the season he won't step up, but if he don't step up this week, which is questionable, they're going to lose.
They're going to need him this week. You know why? Because all of our running backs are hurt.
Bro,
they're all hurt.
They started somebody else, Brandon Sherfield.
Sherfield is not bad, okay?
Bro, they started him over Ayuk.
I understand what you're saying.
No, Ayuk is supposed to be not just a starter. He should be the number 1 receiver on this team.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Whatever's going on there.
He's in the doghouse.
Well, like I said, all of our running backs are hurt. Apparently, the Niners have signed running back Chris Thompson they're bringing up people I don't even know. So
former Washington football team. Anybody else? Give me a name.
They didn't. I don't see any other running backs. They brought up a D lineman, Eddie Yarbrough, to the practice squad.
They'll bring in some more. They'll definitely bring in some more.
I don't know why they released Jordan Matthews. I thought Jordan Matthews was helpful because he's faster as a tight end. And I think he was pretty helpful. But he didn't figure into. I think if you're going to run a 2 tight end set, I like both tight ends to be, competitive receivers, and I thought he was. In any event, we got tight ends. I don't know what we're doing with our wideouts now that you're throwing this Ayuk thing up in the air with me, and all of our running backs are hurt. And here comes Aaron Rodgers. So, who you got?
First of all,
and the skew is in.
Yeah, Hasty is not going to play. He got a high ankle sprain. He's out for like 3-4 weeks. Trey Sermon is in concussion protocol. I doubt if he makes it okay by Sunday. Mitchell, I believe, only had a stinger. He should be good to go. He will start. He will play.
Hey, Ben, I had a stinger. I was out of work for like a month.
Oh, you punk. Get out of here with stinging. You had more than a stinger if you were out a month. Trust me.
That's a long story about how I hurt my neck. But go ahead. If he can come back, I've depended on Mitchell. Losing Mostert, it changes the tempo of how you do things. I think even like we talked about the difference between Pollard and Zeke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mostert is like, there's certain things that he can do nobody else can do. So even when you're with your running game, you have to be a little more patient with your blocks and hold your blocks a little more and read a little bit better.
Right.
But Mitchell's the one put up all of those yards against the Packers in the game. So I'm loving him. I claim him as my cousin. But what do you think about this bias in favor of the Niners?
I'm intrigued by this whole thing. The team signed former XFL running back Jacques Patrick off the Bengals practice squad.
Who my Niners did?
Yes.
Jacques Patrick?
And don't forget, they still have Trent Cannon. And last week, they signed Kerryon Johnson.
Well, there's a name at least I recognize.
Kerryon Johnson played for the Lions. Trent Cannon, I think, spent the entire training camp with the team. So it's not like they don't have bodies, but they're going to really have to rely on Elijah. Screw it, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm going with the Packers.
Again, a running game, keeping Aaron off the field and playing mistake-free ball.
Right.
If I had not made the mistakes in my virtual game, I would have won that game. 2 mistakes, and you just can't do that and give the ball to Aaron, especially in anything that looks like good field position. We're
talking about an MVP level quarterback versus a game manager. We're talking about a team that has their number 1 wide receiver healthy and rolling, and possibly the number 1 wide receiver in the entire league, as opposed to a number 1 wide receiver who's having trouble and is in the doghouse with his head coach. We're talking about a number 1 running back who's coming off of a crazy game the week before where he ran wild against a team who doesn't even know what running back is going to start or make it through the entire game. I have to go with the Packers.
All right. Well, I'll be rooting hard for my 49ers to come
up
with
a
solution for all of those problems you just laid out. And that is going to be a Sunday night brawl. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a brawl. All right, here we go.
I hope so.
We got one more game before we wrap the Bias Plus reports up. Mr. Dickerson, one more game. And this is an NFC East matchup. Philadelphia Eagles going in the Cowboys Stadium. What's the name of that stadium, Ben? You said you know the names of them?
AT&T. That's AT&T
Stadium in Dallas to visit those Cowboys. What the heck do I have here? Anywho, I still got
the Eagles are playing the Cowboys and the 49ers are favored.
The 49ers are favored. You got to love it. You got to love it. Okay.
Good job, bro. Good job.
Fire the graphics guy. Fire the graphics guy.
I have to admit, I would agree with the bias. I believe the 49ers would win a 3-way game.
Oh, my goodness.
A 3-way game between the Eagles and the Cowboys would definitely be won by the Niners.
Good thing I did print this stuff out here because the bias.
I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are favored, right?
No, Eagles are favored.
Eagles are favored. They have the bias.
Yeah, because you gotta remember the
Okay.
Eagles had a big win the first game. And
Yes,
the
they did.
Cowboys
Yes,
have
they
been
did.
nail biters
Yes,
in
they
both
did.
games, and they lost one.
Yes, they did.
So yeah,
Uh,
the net point bias of 19 went to the Eagles. However, the turnover differential bias of 4 went to the Cowboys, mitigating that bias plus score down to 15.
Down to 15. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even need to think about this really hard. And any Eagles fans that's listening to this, I always tell you, if I got something good to say about you, I will. If I got something bad to say about you, I will. This is neither. This is my opinion. I'm picking the Cowboys to win this game because they are the better team. The whole. They're the better team. Okay. And you got to go into AT&T. It's not going to happen. Not after the mess I saw last week. I'm sorry. I can't. Cowboys.
Yeah, Dak's a much more proficient quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Obviously, there's no doubt about it. The
And
level
it's not to speak badly about Hurts. The kid is young.
yeah, I mean, he's in effect like the rookies there, not much more.
Sure. This is basically his first full season.
First full season. So yeah, and again, a rookie coach, you know, and you probably got 800 years of experience on the Cowboys coaching staff. There's a bunch of old guys over there. But long story short, we talked about an effective run game that the Cowboys had. And the Eagles have to define who they are. They at some point, if you're playing Tom Brady, you got to, you know what's coming at you from Tom Brady. Then when Fournette comes at you, it's like, oh my God, and Fournette, you know what I mean? But you know who they are. Some teams like the Niners, we're a run team. If we don't get a run game going, it's going to be a long day. Okay. One of the reasons I lost is in my virtual game is I had a couple goal line things, fourth down, and I didn't get them. So I wound up, kicking field goals and stuff like that. Like I said, I had a great strategy. I just had 2 mind farts and I couldn't afford them. Long story short, Philadelphia is favored. You are going with Dallas.
Yes.
I can understand it. Believe me, I can understand it. All right. Wraps up the Bias Plus report for week 3, the middle of the second preseason, as we call it here. And I believe that now in the back half of this preseason, there's going to be some changes. Teams are going to tighten it up and things of that nature. And injuries. Isn't it funny how you got the type of injuries, the quarterbacks, you got like 4 or 5 quarterback injuries. You had a shortened preseason, so nobody would get hurt. They get into the regular season and right away turn around and get hurt.
Right.
I guess the one good thing is it's early, so for a number of them, they'll be able to get back because it is a long season, 17 games. True. So you'll see some different things. All right, Benny, that wraps up the Bias Plus reports for week 3, 2021.